your American infantry is not in the technology itself, because there's no great disparity between the weapons that's used. It's in the level of training. So standing up and loading and firing, British regulars can do that extremely rapidly, faster than pretty much anyone else, because they are trained. Not because British soldiers are inherently more aggressive, nastier than everybody else, although I'm sure the French would disagree. It is purely because they are a professional army, a small professional army. So they volunteer to be soldiers, and they spend a long time training. And the government, because it's a small army, the government can afford to give them powder to train with. So to load this weapon, which a British soldier would do thousands of times before he actually got onto the battlefield, is a very simple matter. You take from your cartridge box a cartridge.
It's wood.
It's got a wooden set of blocks in it. You might have to edit this later. You take from your cartridge box your cartridge. Now, cartridges are simply ball and powder wrapped in paper. What kind of paper? Cartridge paper. So that's why when you're in school and you're using fine quality paper, it's called cartridge paper. It's because of these things. Bite open the end of the cartridge, and you bring this up and open that to what is called half cock. So that's taken back to half cock, and you bite open the paper and pour a little pinch of the powder into the pan and cover it with a frizzer. So that's not going anywhere now, it's trapped in there. The wind can't get to it and it won't fall out when I turn it around. I cast about and I pour the rest of the powder from the paper down into the barrel, and it goes through the muzzle. This is a muzzle loading weapon, so down it goes. Turn it about, and the rest of the paper and the ball is pushed in. That goes in, and then you scour that home with your scouring stick, which you reverse and push down, and it goes in once, comes back out, and you return it. Now you should always return it every time, because you could, in the heat of battle, fire it away and make a kebab out of an American soldier, but then when you go to reload your weapon you won't be able to. So when that's done, bring it back to the full cock, present the weapon, and fire. The flint hits the steel, creates a spark which ignites the powder in the pan, which flushes through the touch hole into the chamber, ignites the powder in the chamber, explodes, carries the ball away towards the enemy. It will go about 100 yards with any degree of accuracy. It's not a very accurate weapon, but it doesn't have to be. If I've got 1,000 of me firing at 1,000 of you, someone's going to get hurt, and that's the point, really. So that's the standard weapon of the period. Most soldiers of the period will be carrying that, which is colloquially referred to as a brown bess because of this brown colour on the barrel, although the soldiers at the time would never have called it that. They would have called it their firelock. How do you make fire? Flint, steel, firelock. If they were very old-fashioned, they might have called it a fusil, because that's the original term for it, fusil. And in the British Army, the first soldiers to get this weapon are fusiliers, so Royal Regiment Fusiliers get this weapon. Some of the American soldiers are carrying weapons similar to this. This is a little bit later, but this is a Baker rifle. Now, the soldiers in the American War would be carrying Fergusons or possibly Cresbys, which are rifled weapons. You can see it's much smaller, but it's much more accurate because it has that rifling down the barrel. It's got a groove, it's cut spiral down the barrel. And instead of using an ordinary lead ball, which is what this one is, the lead musket ball, that one there, why are bullets called rounds? Well, they start out being round, that's why they're called rounds. This one is the rifle round, and it's clasped in leather, which means it will grip that spiral in. It's very accurate, it's much more accurate than this weapon. You could actually hit things 200 yards away, and you can aim at people, you can aim at drummers or officers, and you will interrupt the chain of command. Why don't we give everyone one of these then? Well, it's not expense, it's purely because speed is a major factor. If that ball will grip the rifling coming out, it'll also grip the rifling going in. So this weapon takes a lot longer to load, and speed is of the essence, certainly with British regulars. They can fire that musket 2 or 3 times faster than this rifle can be fired. So speed over accuracy every time. Righto. Not every soldier on the battlefield is an infantryman. Some of them are carrying things like this. And this, again, slightly later, but this is the 1796 Light Pattern Cavalry Sabre. Sabres are curved, or a sword to straight. They're curved so that you can cut into your enemy as you ride past him. Cavalry soldiers are instructed to aim at their enemy's face if possible. If you hit them in the head or the face, they're going to lose interest in fighting you, and they will drop out and you can go on to somebody else. So this is a very, very good weapon. Heavy cavalry, who have a different job, carry a heavy cavalry sword. Much larger, much heavier, as is the soldier and the horse he's riding on. And this is used locked out straight. You ride into your opponent, and as he falls behind you, you let the horse drag it back out and lock it back up for the next one. Very effective. It's also good at fighting other heavy cavalry soldiers. You can possibly even take on French cuirassiers in armour wearing that. Splendid. So the infantry don't feel left out. All infantry soldiers carry with their musket a bayonet, which locks on like that, into place, and that's going nowhere. So you'll fight with your bayonet fixed, and if, as you're taking time to load this, maybe 3 or 4 shots in a minute, if you get too close, you fire the last volley and then charge in with the bayonets. Very effective. Not many people are going to stand at a bayonet charge. So there we go. That's pretty much the weaponry of the British soldiers, infantry and cavalry, fighting at the time. Of course, you have got artillery too, but I haven't got one of those handy.